Hello friends, I was looking at my YouTube analytics last week, and I was pleasantly surprised to find that Evolution of a Homestead tagged me in the challenge 5 reasons why you want to homestead. That's why you want to. There could be reasons why you have to. I can think of a lot of reasons why I want to. So I thought them over and came up with the top 5. The first one is definitely food. The system that we have, our economic system, I can't really be angry at the farmers and the food producers directly, because we have a capitalist system where you have a select few people who are trying to gather all the power of production to themselves. What you end up with is factory farms and big factory food processors. Now, even though you have factory farms, it's not just one farm. So then you have this bunch of big farms, each one trying to outdo the other one, trying to get the biggest part of the pie. And to do that, they have to cut cost. They cut cost by cutting labor. They cut labor by using herbicides and pesticides. And heavy machinery, tilling the ground, destroying the soil structure, etc., etc. The other thing is to have uniform crops. You breed a crop, or now in later years they're starting to genetically engineer them to produce uniform, perfect looking vegetables every time. And uniform, perfect looking vegetables, as you know, doesn't necessarily mean something that tastes good and is nutritious. And as you all know, store-bought, especially things like potatoes, apples do alright, but there are several vegetables that they're just tasteless and of very low nutrition and quality. On top of that, like I said, with the pesticides and herbicides, they're water soluble. They'll be in your food as well as on your food. The only way to escape that would be to grow your own at home. The processors and the farmers, they have to produce a food that is acceptable to the widest number of people and with a long shelf life. As they say when they're doing they're advising you on how to do a YouTube channel, if you try to appeal to everybody, you'll appeal to nobody. So you have a store with a bunch of bland food with a long shelf life. Now, if the bacteria don't want to eat it, what makes you think it's good for you? So that's a good question. At home, you get your seed catalog, you select the best varieties. You select for taste, you select for nutrition. You process your own food, you process it for quality, not for mass appeal and shelf life. Number 2 is self-reliance. Having to depend on someone else for everything is frustrating at the least, because every time something goes wrong, or if in the case of food, if you run out of something, you have to work your schedule around someone else's. You have to go with what they're willing to give you. Being self-reliant, you work at your own pace and you do it when you can. And as the one saying goes, you surround yourself by things you like, and you like what you're surrounded by. You don't need to depend on what someone else likes. Number 3 is peace. I'm an introvert, a fairly strong one at that, and so there's a constant monologue going on in my mind all the time. That's why introverts have a little bit of a trouble with social get-togethers. Is not because they're not social, it's just that they're differently social. A lot of external influence can get overwhelming, and when I'm out in the garden or I'm building my projects, whatever, I'm in my own peaceful little area, working at my pace. I can let that monologue run off in my own little world. When you're out with a regular job, an office job, where you have to run the city, You're at the constant demands and whims of the wider society and the noise and the confusion. Skills. Never stop learning useful skills and crafts. Always something to learn on a homestead. There are things going wrong, there are new ideals to be tried, there's new things to make, there's chores to be done, there's crops to try. Never a dull moment. It was only 3-4 years ago that a friend of mine taught me how to sharpen a knife. I got my first knife that was sharpened properly, and I was like, wow, I didn't know a knife could do that. But I've learned over the last 10 years that the amount of knowledge that's been lost in the last, I'd say about 3 generations. It was being lost in my grandfather's generation, and my father's generation was a lot of common household skills lost. So nowadays, if you're going into homesteading, you've got a lot to learn. There are bits and pieces around. Most people have specialized. They know one thing, but they don't know another thing. And so if you're going to be self-reliant on your homestead, you go to this guy for one thing, you go to this guy to learn something else, you go to another guy to learn something else, you search the net. Most of my doing is searching the net because I don't have the network in the local area to actually learn these things. There's a lot of research and a lot to learn. And it's fun learning new things. It's fun trying new things. I usually tell people gardening is a lifelong experiment. There's always something new. Adventure, that's number 5. Leading in from number 4, always learning. There's always exploring. Always exploring new taste, always exploring new vegetation. A lot of us live in the country. We're in rural areas where a lot of nature is close by. I'm lucky enough to have it right out my back door. I can just go out and walk for miles. But even the people who's in the more populated areas, close by is usually some undeveloped mountains or a park or something. So we can get out and enjoy nature. With a decent sized property, you can even attract nature to your homestead. That's my ideal of adventure. There's a lot of people, they want to go on a cruise, they want their eye-powered equipment for adventure. I go walk in the forest or along the shore, and I watch the animals, the wildlife. I come back to the homestead and I do things just because I can. It's just something new to try. And you don't have restrictions that you do in the city to try new things, to explore new things. So adventure is number 5. Food is number 1. Self-reliance is number 2. Peace is number 3. Skills is number 4. And adventure is number 5. Now, I was honored by Evolution of the Homestead when she tagged me in this challenge, and I'm going to tag 5 other channels. The first 2 are larger channels, but I searched their last year and I didn't find the 5 reasons why we homestead. That's Homesteady and SSLFamilyDad. The third one is the Homestead with Jesse Holm. That will be HOLMSTEAD. Jesse Holm, his last name is HOLM. I don't know how many subscribers he has, it doesn't tell me there. The next 2 channels are smaller ones. One that started, I think he started a little bit before me. He has 129 subscribers now, and he's starting to develop a piece of land out in the plains. I think it's on the eastern side of the plains, but I'm not sure. And his homestead, its channel I should say, is Eco Homestead, ECO space HOMESTEAD. And another smaller channel is the Prepared Homestead. They're in northern Idaho, and they currently have 612 subscribers. So that's my top 5 reasons why I want to homestead, and my selected 5 channels to pass the baton on to in this challenge for 5 reasons why we want to homestead. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.